Has Boris Johnson already won this election? That's what I want to talk about in this video, so let's get started! Hi, I'm Mark, welcome to my channel and welcome to another Brexit video. It's less than 2 weeks now until the election will actually happen. 2 days ago, YouGov published a new opinion poll that predicts that the Tories and Boris Johnson will have a big victory there. But how accurate is that? First of all, we're going to leave out that it's almost 2 weeks still until an election, and as a politician myself, as I said before, in 2 weeks before an election, a lot can happen in campaigns. Suddenly some scandal, whatever. So nothing is fixed now. But how close is Boris? For that I want to have a closer look on this opinion poll. Directly in the beginning I want to say it's the best opinion poll on this election I've seen so far, because they're not only concentrating on a nationwide poll where they're asking for the percentage of how many people will vote for each party, but they were concentrating on the single constituencies, which most of the companies who are making these opinion polls don't do, because it's a very complicated thing. You need a lot of people to ask, and so whatever I'm going to say later, it's the best poll you have there at the moment, and YouGov was very reliable in the past as well, of course. But let's get to the basics first. They asked 100,000 people of their opinion and intentions on this election. This is a large number, much larger than most companies do, but it's for almost 650 constituencies, and if you break that down, it's probably not the standard amount of people you asked. Usually in one constituency you would ask more than 1,000 people, and if you calculate that, you would have needed 650,000 people to do so as you would normally do to have it really representative. But still, they did a large number, and they have experience, they have a lot of older numbers they can calculate in, so it might help to get a close result. But still, in the number of seats for each party they predict, there's still a lot of space for movement. Like, for example, the Conservatives, who are now predicted to get 359 seats, which would be a big majority, have in their wider range they're predicting for the Tories between 320 and 390. And there you can see how unpredictable it still is in a first past the post system if you try to get into the single constituencies. So I'm gonna first tell you now the results they got. I started with the Tories with the 359 seats. The Labour Party with 211 seats, which would mean quite some losses for them. The Lib Dems with 13 seats. They would gain some seats compared to the last election, but lose seats compared to what they had in Parliament now after the defections of some MPs to the Liberal Democrats. The Brexit Party is predicted to get no seat at all. And nationwide they are on 3% in this opinion poll. You must not forget they are not standing in more than half of the constituencies, but 3% is still a very low result there, although they will play a role. I come to that later. The Greens will get the 1 seat they already have. The SNP 43 seats. Plaid Cymru 4 seats. The Speaker will get his 1 seat, but no independent will get any seat, according to this opinion poll. They've only made this poll for Great Britain, so they didn't do it for Northern Ireland, so we just have to say there's another 18 seats for Northern Ireland, but they didn't predict who will get which seat, although we know there are some alliances there for Remainers. But that was the overall summary, and with this summary, of course, the Tories and Boris Johnson would have a big majority with 359 seats. They could get everything through Parliament they want. But how accurate is this poll? Not in the technical way. It definitely is very good. It's very accurately made. But how much does this say about the election 2 weeks before the election? Because if you have a closer look at the numbers, you first see that a lot of seats the Tories win on this prediction are, even in the opinion poll, very marginal. And as most of you probably know, there is an error gap of 3, 4, 5% in these polls, depending on the system they used, and many of those seats are just 1, 2 or 3% between the Tories and Labour or the Tories and the Lib Dems. So these seats have been calculated in there, but they are not very safe to say they will really go to the Conservatives, because there's an error margin and all those seats are not outside this error margin. Second of all, what is interesting is the Lib Dems. They will gain a little bit, but they also will lose a seat they had before, and nobody was really expecting that with Joe Swinson's appearance on TV with their campaigning, but it doesn't seem to work. Which also doesn't work, obviously, is the Remain alliance. Wherever the Greens, the Plaid Cymru and the Lib Dems are working on this Remain alliance, it only seems to work for the Lib Dems in 2 constituencies. Everywhere else it doesn't help them at all. Plaid Cymru doesn't gain from that, the Greens won't gain from that, they still will have their 1 seat. And so without Labour taking part in it and in the constituencies where they formed their Remain alliance, and most of them Labour is going to win or is the competitor of the Conservative Party and nobody of the Remain alliance. And the next interesting fact is the Brexit Party, where they are standing, and they are saying they are attacking Labour Leave seats. They are taking votes from Labour, according to this opinion poll. But for every Labour voter they take in this opinion poll, they are taking 2 from the Conservative Party. So the Brexit Party can play a role in this election, because in many of these constituencies, which are now on this opinion poll, are booked on the Tory side, it still can lead to the fact that Labour might win these seats. Because there's one thing in these opinion polls that it's the same thing in Germany with the AfD. Many people in opinion polls don't tell the truth that they are voting for them. And the same thing might apply for Nigel Farage or the Brexit Party. And so that's another possibility for error in these opinion polls, that people who are voting for the Brexit Party are not telling they're voting for the Brexit Party. At least in Germany, that happens regularly. And counting all this together, the few people in every constituency asked of their opinion, it's really, let's say, I try to be really fair to YouGov, because they are quite good in doing this, but with the number of people they could have asked in every constituency, let's just say there is a danger of inaccuracy because of the small number of people they could ask. Second, the Brexit Party might prevent Boris Johnson still from getting these seats. They are booked to the Tories here, and so very quickly this majority can be gone. Third, there are a lot of seats in this poll which are too close to call, as they would say in an American presidential vote, because of the error margin that's always in opinion polls, and they don't necessarily go to the Conservatives, even if the people who are there today will not change their mind within the next 2 weeks, but it's still dangerously close to make a prediction like that. Of course, that's a job to say that's what we found out now, but nobody should be celebrating now. Of course, after hearing this and after everything that happened recently with Jeremy Corbyn not making a very good role, and obviously that the tactics of Boris Johnson not to appear on television sometimes really helps him, or it seems to be like that, the Tories now have the best chance to win this election with an own majority, not depending on anyone else to get a working majority. But as I said before, with my experience of being a politician myself, running myself in campaigns, standing myself in constituencies, I still have to say it's almost 2 weeks until the election. A lot can happen in this time, and nothing is secure right now. But once again, the Tories and Boris Johnson now do have a good chance to get a majority and get a working majority, which would mean if Boris Johnson sticks to his word, he will get through his deal through Parliament immediately after Parliament got together again. And the UK will leave the EU officially on the 31st of January, with the transition period starting on the 1st of February, and that would lead to the end of the transition period at the 31st of December 2020. And there it would end automatically if Boris Johnson doesn't apply for an extension until July, which he said he won't do. So we would, with his deal through Parliament, automatically have a transition period from February to December, and that's it. So Boris Johnson hasn't won yet, but he really has got the best chances of all the candidates now to be the next Prime Minister, to be a Prime Minister with an own majority, and to get Brexit the way he wants it. I thank you for watching. If you haven't done so yet, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Have a nice day, and see you soon.